Hey guys, Seth here with a Shot in the Dark reviews. I have a really awesome light to do an unboxing and review today. It is from Fireflies, the PL47, running a set of Cree XPL 4K LEDs, putting out 5,000 lumens. So, very cool setup. Excited to take a look at it, see what we could do. And let's dive in. I do want to give a shout out real quick though to Zero Air for hooking me up on this. This is going to be Shelter Light Part 1. This was the headlight spot that we needed to fill here at the bomb shelter, and also have a Hack-A-Lite MT07 Buffalo, the new version at 8,000 lumens, on the way. Should be here this week, so I will definitely be doing an unboxing and beam shots video of it. So, on to the main event. I try to buy every light humanly possible used. If I can swing it, I try to get it used. I like to keep what little money we do spend in the light community. Not to mention, we use all our stuff. So buying new it doesn't make a lot of sense. So this is going to be used, but it is in excellent condition. First comes with a manual. Now I'm going to show you this manual here. This is probably the side that you're going to want to check out. And that is because there is a ton that this UI has the capability of doing. That is the map for it. It's a very common UI, and it's one that it's incorporated in a multitude of different lights by a lot of different manufacturers, and is kind of known for a do-all UI. I'll bet it does take a minute to get the hang of all of the different ins and outs of the settings. But they do conveniently give you a muggle mode, which, as explained right here, is on, off, hold up to go down, hold up, or hold the button to go up, hold the button to go down, and that's it. So if you don't want to mess with all the modes that are here, I've tried to go through each one just to kind of see what it does and how I like it. Some of them are really cool, some of them have absolutely no application for what I'm going to be using it for, as this is filling the headlamp spot of our needs. But I will say, very cool. Very cool UI now that I've gotten the chance to play with it. First light that's ever been running this. I am not going to do the disservice to the manufacturer of the UI and try to pronounce the name. But I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments and give me the proper pronunciation. Or I could Google it if I cared enough, which I don't. Couple of things to note on this. Runs a 21700. Which I really like, because with the output that this light has, also with the secondaries that it runs, the longer run time of the 21700 is awesome. I like it quite a bit. We'll dive into the battery here once we get the light out, but it does come with aux LEDs. These are ice blue. I do not believe they come in a different color. They're not like a Dragon Driver or something that offers a wide range of secondaries. So that is actually going to be addressed here as well. This right here, if you guys keep up with my videos, is a really big strong point with me. The fact that it has a magnet in the tail cap, especially a right angle light, has an endless number of uses, and any of you guys who use a right angle light, I'm sure, can appreciate the fact that it is built in. So that's nice. Even on the D4s and the other MSRs, to get the magnetic tail cap, you gotta pay extra. This is just part of the package. So let's go ahead and pull this bad boy out. And here it is. Very compact for its size. Really is. I mean, I was expecting it to be bigger, given the fact that it's a 21700 battery. But it's not. I mean, it is headlamp size, I'll bet the head looks quite a bit larger than most that you would see, and that's due to the output. I mean, 5,000 lumens in a 4K is pretty impressive, I have to say. I was surprised whenever I first put it on and tried to run it through its paces. It was putting out a lot more light than I expected. Had also better throw than I expected, or that anyone would really would need for a headlamp scenario. So a couple of things that are pretty nifty. The power button also is a battery indicator. So as the battery goes down, these lights will diminish. So it tells you the state of your battery. Your aux LEDs. Now I'm going to turn off the overhead light here for this. So the aux LEDs look cool. They definitely work to help find the light in the dark. Outside of that, though, they're really kind of pointless. On the MSR D4S, those secondaries, you have a low, a high, and a strobe. This has on, off, and strobe. So this is actually all of the power that you're going to get out of these little blue secondaries. So not functional secondaries in my opinion, but it looks cool. And I like it. I mean, I think it goes really well with the light. It's super easy to grab in the dark. It comes with the clip for, just a retention clip. If you want to do, like, slip it on your pocket with it pointing out, rather than wearing it as a headlamp, or holding it in your hand. So, I mean, that's an option that I like that it comes with. Some lights don't even come with the clip or charge more for the clip. So, it's a bonus. It's not anything special, but I'm a clip guy, as a lot of you guys know. Now, I told you this is going to be filling the headband spot that I need. Now, again, I buy all my lights used, if at all possible, and I will say that one of the biggest cons about this from a headlamp perspective is their headlamp band. Now, this might at one time have had some kind of padding on it, but it doesn't anymore, and I have yet to see any signs that it did have padding. So it's not comfortable at all, but check this out. For anyone out there who's used headlamps before, so you clip this in, and then, depending on where you catch it, if you put it on the rings, it clips in, it's solid, it's stable, it doesn't move. But if it comes out of the rings, there is very, very little that is keeping this light on your head. And it's very difficult to find the right position for it. You have to basically use the clip to use this headband. I'm actually going to switch this headband out for a different one that I have, but only because this thing is just so unusable. But I'll say that as far as this headband goes, you gotta have the clip attached to be able to get it to hit the point of the band right there for it to stop tilting. Same thing in the opposite direction. You catch the clip on the bottom to stop it from tilting. Now, you pop this bad boy out, take off the clip, you put it back in, and there is nothing holding that thing around. I mean, it just floats around all willy-nilly. You can't, keep it in one direction. Every step that you take, it falls. So anyway, definitely want to think about getting a different headband for this, if that is the application that you're wanting to use it for. So let's take a look at the battery here. As I had mentioned, this thing runs a 21700. Zero Air was cool enough to include a 21700 with the package. Again, he gave me an awesome deal, and I much appreciate it. So 21700, A lot of people don't know what the numbers mean, so just to clarify, the first two numbers are going to be the diameter of the battery in millimeters. The last three numbers are going to be the length of the battery in millimeters. So this one here is 21 millimeters wide by 700 millimeters long. That versus an 18650, which delivers the same voltage amp draw as this battery, obviously depending on the battery. So there's no real difference in the battery chemistry, so to speak. All that's different is the size, which gives it a larger milliamperage rating, which gives you longer runtime. So this is in the rating area, 5,000 milliamps. I mean, that's on the high 26650 scale. Again, this is a label that came with the battery, so I don't know if this is actually 5,000 milliamps. I haven't ran any tests on it because I don't care. So it works really well. It works excellent in hydrating environments, and the runtime is significantly better than I was expecting. That is the inside of the tail cap. I like that they have their little logo etched in there a couple of times. If we take apart the tube, it is absolutely in there. But I want to show you guys a couple of things here once it's completely disassembled. So you pull the tube, and it threads all the way in there. Stiff spring, solid board, no complaints. Retention is excellent, no movement of the battery inside. The threads are not, I don't want to say they are greased. They're not, they're liberally greased. And I like that. If any of you guys follow my videos, I like having threads, especially on mass-produced lights that are greased. It just shows that extra attention to detail. But you know what? Let's also check out this head here, because without the body and the tail cap, I mean, this is the entire light engine. This is the whole thing. So, I mean, you have something approximately the size of a D4 in a shorty tube, but you do get the secondaries, which I like that the D4 doesn't have, the higher output D4 doesn't have, and also the fact that it's a right angle light, which is really the centrist reason as to why I got it. I have had the Emaliant HR20 with that rotary UI, about 1,000 lumen output. I've also had the Through Night TH30, and it put out 3,300 lumens, and it was darn bright. But this is actually, it's a fantastic combination of throw and flood. It is obviously mainly a floodlight because it's a headlamp, but I will say that with the power behind it, it just throws better than you would expect a headlamp to do. So you screw it back in, secondaries come back on, and your indicator comes back on. Again, kind of just, those are cool little features that you probably could have gotten the same amount of money if they didn't include them, so I'm glad that they did. Other stuff in the box comes with a pretty nifty 18650 tube. I mean, there's not a lot to it, but it gives you the ability to, if you would like, run flat top 18650s, which is kind of cool because you can't, I don't know if you're able to tell it on camera, but that button in there is slightly raised from inside the tube. So if you have a flat top or a button top at 18650, this adapter should work. And this is a little bit nicer than most of the adapters. Most of the adapters I come across are just a sleeve or a tube or something. This is just a little bit better quality. It's good plastic. It makes good contact. they obviously had to do something more than a sleeve to accommodate the 50 millimeter longer length in a 21-700 versus an 18-650. But I'll say they did it well, and they also give you the ability to use whatever battery type you want. Pack of O-rings, pretty standard. That's the whole shebang. Foam fitting case, which is nice. Not all companies have, fit cases. So, nothing special about the box. Gives you the specs here. This is the PL47. These are going to be the XPL high 4Ks and a manufacture date. Other than that, not a lot going on with the box. But again, you're not going to buy this thing for any bells and whistles. It comes with plenty of bells and whistles all on its own. So let's go through some of the stuff on the UI. Now, I am no expert in this UI, and due to that, I am going to pull out the manual so I can walk you guys through it. So the easiest, okay, it does have memory by default out of Muggle mode, so you can turn this on, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do here as I adjust the camera. Kill that light. So you can tell it has the same ramping technology that you're used to, but with a bunch of little extras. So we can ramp it up, and it's not smooth ramping, it's staged ramping. And that I don't personally like. I like, the smoother the ramping, the better, but these definitely define the modes more specifically. But I like the more infinite UI ramping. So press and hold the button to ramp up, press and hold the button to ramp down. That one, super awesome, super easy. Now, if you do 2 clicks, that's going to jump into turbo. So this is full 5,000 lumen output. Obviously, this is not a beam shot video. That's going to come later. I always do beam shot videos separately. This is just to compare modes. But it is a lot of light that it's getting put out. And that ain't no joke there at the top. This head, just after what we just put it through, is super warm. I mean, it's not too hot to the touch, but it's also not far off, which I'm not surprised about, because you have a lot of output coming out of a relatively small head. And I will say that I have run this thing on turbo for probably a solid 2 or 3 minutes, using it in a headlamp fashion. And with the head further away, especially in this clamp, it keeps the head fairly far away from your forehead. So picture your head here. It definitely keeps the head away from your head. So what I'm saying is you don't really feel the heat until you have really left it on for quite some time. Okay, so it's got 3 clicks enters the special kind of flasher group for battery check, good night mode, beacon, temp check. I'm not going to do any of those. But what I am going to do is I want to run through some of the strobe modes, because I am not a strobe guy. I often don't. That does not factor into my buying potential, right? If it doesn't have strobe, it doesn't have strobe. I could really care less in almost all situations. But I will say that with the good runtime and some of the cooler modes this thing has, that some of these strobe modes are pretty cool. Okay, I want to run through a couple of those. So it should be click, click, hold. Now this is a mode that is called lightning storm mode. It is designed to just simulate random flashes at random brightness levels. I have to say it's kind of like watching a lava lamp. It's very interesting to watch. It's kind of a cool thing to have around if your power goes off. Does it resemble a thunderstorm in this mode? I mean, yeah, if I had this thing facing upward and away from directly my eyes and just reflecting off of a white ceiling, yeah, it would give that effect. You add that in with a nice sound machine, and yeah, I'd say you'd have every bit of what it would be like to go through a lightning storm, which is just kind of cool. Again, not really any point, but it's a cool bell and whistle that they include. So the lightning mode is cool, okay? If I go to 2 clicks again, this is the candle mode. This I really like because obviously it's designed to resemble a flickering candle. So it's not as sporadic as the lightning mode, but it's more of a constant. Another cool thing is that in any strobe mode, you can change the power of the strobe, and in some lights, that's in a fixed situation. With this, if you want to make it brighter and have it run that same candle mode, you can. If you want to give it more of an effect like a candle, then you can ramp it down, and you can use it as more candle-ish. Now this here, this is Bike Flasher. This one is Party Tactical, which is messing with my camera and is a little weird. And then we come into your standard strobe, which no one likes. Well, I don't like it. And then we jump right back into your storm mode, your lightning storm mode. So I really like how the different blinkers, the different strobe modes that are built into this, they don't really serve a purpose, but it's cool. I just have to say, it's kind of just a cool part of the UI, you know, to have that in there. I'm not going to go through Muggle mode, momentary. The lockout, that's an important one for a light of this size. So let's say we want to get out of this strobe mode, right? So we're going to click it off. Secondaries come back on when you click it off. Click it back on, and it goes back to the previously memorized pre-strobe mode. So it will remember the strobe mode that you were in. If you double-click and hold, then it will, if I could do it correctly, sorry, from off, double-click and hold, and it jumps right back into the previous mode that you were in prior to. So that's nice. Memory mode for strobes is kind of cool because I'll never use anything other than the lightning storm mode or the candle mode just because they're nifty, you know? So it's nice that it remembers what you left it on. So you click it off, click it back on, and it remembers the mode that you were in, and you're back to ramping. So, one last thing I'll touch on is the aux LEDs. Again, not exactly functional, but if you want to turn them off or make them blink, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then that should cause them to blink. And it's a very slow blink. That's it. I mean, they're practically useless outside of aesthetics. If you want to turn them off, it's another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now they're off. So I generally have them on pretty much the entire time that I use for the lights. You can see how the battery is dropping here. So it doesn't appear to affect runtime. Like, I'm sure it affects runtime, but to be honest, I grab for it so often that it's nice to always be able to know where it is, even in pitch black, because of the secondary. So I'm going to flip them back on. And there we go. And now they'll just remain solid and give me the battery. Okay. So that is the Fireflies PL47 in XPL high 4K LEDs. Obviously, I'm going to do a beam shot video of this outside as well, but I wanted to give you guys the full rundown on it. It has some cons. I mean, this thing does not represent the company better. I'd almost wish they wouldn't even offer it as an option, because it just, in my opinion, don't offer boring or ineffective tech with such a cool light. I mean, the clip is nice. The magnetic tail is nice. I do like the magnetic tail. Doesn't do it on the brass. So all in all, the output is great. The runtime is great. I would have rather had more usable, or at least some options for the secondaries, but, you know, it's $48 plus 12 for the XPLs. So, you know, you can't demand the world out of it. You can get this whole flashlight for less than what you'd pay for a Dragon driver. So, I mean, it fits the bill that I need perfectly. I have zero complaints about its actual intended purpose, which is obviously the best thing in my opinion. I can put this on, I can click it once and immediately walk outside and shift the light however I want to. If I need to instantly reach out and touch something, you can always double click into that turbo, which is insanely bright, and then one click off, one click back into low. So, hope you guys appreciated this video. Please leave me any comments, start a conversation down there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Also, like and subscribe and hit the little bell. All of those things I'm told are good. So that is it for now. Thanks for watching and stay bright, guys. Have a great night.